Welcome back to Adam's Archive. It's a little bit of a rebranding here. We're just going to see how it works. But today we're looking at some microphones, specifically for the phone, the smartphone, the iPhone. We're going to take a pause so I can tell you that there is a bare wall right in front of me throughout the entirety of this video. It's about 3 feet in front of me, and you're probably going to get a harsh reverb and echo into the microphone. So just keep that in mind. I do mention it later, but wanted you to be aware of it throughout the entirety of the video so you can keep that in mind, as this mic that I'm using now is a dynamic mic, so it's going to do a lot better of a job in cutting off the reverbs than all the other mics in the video. I got a new mic in the studio. This is the Shure SM57, so this is going to be our control. It's got the AWS windscreen or whatever. A couple mods in it as well with the A81 windscreen. Kind of did some surgery and put the internals of that into the tip of this to try to really get the best of both worlds without the big honkin' big mic puff. Anyways, it's super relevant. This is just going to be our control. And here we have my iPhone 12 recording on the Rode Audio Pro app. I honestly forgot what it's called. Didn't care to check, apparently. It's in my last iPhone audio app review. And we're also going to take a look at the Dolby On app as well. We got a couple more things to say about that as well. But this is the Smart Mic DI Mini. Bought it on Amazon from aramonic. About $50, $40, $45, somewhere in there, I believe. I will show it on screen and link it in the description. And it's just really simple. Plugs into your smartphone via the Lightning port. We're actually just going to toss that mic away, and now we're solely on the aramonic. Yeah, really simple. Just plugs into the bottom of your iPhone and should give you some better quality audio than the stock microphone. So this is without the windscreen. It comes with this little puff thing, and it swivels back and forth, whether you're doing rear camera shooting or like vlogging or something. Just tailor it to where you need to point it, which is nice. Not a luxury you get on the stock iPhone, of course. And we're going to test it with the mic puff. It's kind of on there. It doesn't look perfect, as you might be able to tell, but it's on there, and that will hopefully be able to cut down the wind and pop plosives that you might be getting, especially outdoors. I'm sure this will help a lot. Yeah, this is how it sounds on the Rode app. Let's take a look and see what Dolby On does. Really quick, this is the box which the aramonic mic comes in, and pretty simple, but I just wanted to point out that you might be tempted to lift the microphone from here, but I would not recommend doing that, as this bit right here is actually a bit of a shock mount. It's kind of rubbery and flexible, so if you do this, you might risk breaking something in there. I would just try to go in from the port side, as it's going to be a little bit more sturdy to lift it out of there with. And just try to be careful overall. Alright, so we are on Dolby On with the same microphone with the pop filter on, and I just want to say a couple things about these apps in between these tests. I noticed after I post my last video that there's no apparent way for me to change the levels on this app. So if something is too loud, I don't think I can really do anything about it. Now, it's supposed to kind of set it automatically, but, sometimes you just can't trust that, especially if it's, high-stakes footage. I feel like that's just a leg down. I do think this is the better package overall, but that key feature would put it over Rode. They record at the same resolution, like 48 kilohertz and 24-bit wave. Now, if you see here, the Rode app actually is recording at about half the bitrate as the Dolby app, sitting at about 1150 kilobits per second, while the Dolby app is at about 2300 kilobits per second. So they record at the same settings and everything. It's kind of pretty, but the other app is just simple, and it has the levels. You can change the levels of your microphone, which is extremely important. I would not leave that to an app just to try to smart detect it. It's probably got some compression kind of stuff going on there, which can just make it sound odd if it's a very fluctuating source. But yeah, we're going to take the pop filter off, and that takes about half a second. When putting it on, it took me like a minute. We also got another microphone to test. This is the iDisk. It's like a lavalier mic. Yeah, so one bit plugs into your phone, and the other bit plugs into your sweatshirt or your, collar, whatever. And so you can have a wireless audio mic on your phone, which is very helpful for all sorts of situations. If you're doing any sort of presentations or just need to be away from the phone, because this one obviously is going to be better the closer you are to your phone. And in this case, I'm probably about 7-8 inches, 6 to 8 inches away. In between the tests, we're going to go to the iPhone speaker, the iPhone microphone to cleanse your palate a bit, and then maybe we'll hop back on the Zoom, the Shure. Okay, so the Dolby app just crashed on me. I don't know if you guys saw that. That's interesting to note because that stuff is important. I wasn't recording or anything, but it's still decent to know. Now we're on the iPhone speakers or microphone. And just to clarify, this is an untreated room. There's actually a wall directly behind the camera in front of me, which is probably less than 3 feet away from me. So you're probably getting a harsh bounce back here, and you might be able to hear that. And these microphones might be able to help with something like that. And that's honestly a big reason why I got some new dynamic microphones, which you're hearing me on now. For some reason, I thought this would be easier than treating my room, but I should probably just do both and treat the space with the care that it needs. Okay, we are back on the Rode Reporter app. Finally figured out what it's called. Back on the built-in microphone of the phone. And we are going to move over to the iDisk lapel microphone. Well, it's called wireless lavalier microphone, but whatever. I will say on this iDisk, the packaging is a lot nicer, and I think this one is cheaper. Okay, I lied. This microphone cost me about $50. This microphone cost me about $40. So packaging is off the rip a lot better. There's a pouch on the aramonic. There, it comes with a bag, but it's just really big for no reason. I guess you can keep this whole plastic mold in there, but that's stupid. Now I'm on the iDisk wireless lavalier microphone, and you can see it's clipped to my shirt here. It actually looks to be a little hot, so let me turn this down. Actually, you can't rotate the microphone to like clip it in the best possible spot. So the way it's clipped on my shirt, it's kind of falling over here, and I can't really rotate it unless I rotate the clip itself. So none of these parts actually move. And I think that's kind of a downfall. It feels a little bit cheap, and, you know, honestly, I wasn't expecting something incredible for $50 when there are so much better options out there. Like, I think Rode makes some, Sennheiser probably makes some, Sony probably makes some. Everybody probably makes some that are very high quality, but also cost a lot more than this. So it also comes with the USB-C charging cable, which is cool to see that's USB-C. It also comes with another clip for this part and another mic puff thing right here, which you'd probably want to always keep on, especially outdoors. So speaking of the mic puff, this is without the mic puff on, just to see how that sounds, if it changes the frequencies at all. And this is kind of getting really up close to it, and I'm going to clip it. I'm finding that just putting it on the string of my sweatshirt is easier than anything else because it just kind of falls over. I don't think a sweatshirt's really the best way to clip these things. I haven't had a lot of experience with lavalier microphones, to be honest. Kind of a learning experience for everyone. Okay, so we're on Dolby on. The mic does appear to be working here. Windscreen back on. So something I probably should have tested in the other tests with the Rode app was getting away from the phone. Obviously, it's going to be the most appealing feature of this microphone is to be able to stand a distance away from whatever you're recording with. And so if you're live streaming or something like that, people can still hear you. So this is that test. I know mounting it to my string isn't the best because, you know, it's free to move about the cabin and pick up all those rubbing noises, which is not good, but this is what we got. This is just for putting out the general sound quality. You know, I'm not a professional when it comes to lavalier microphones. So now I'm a couple feet away from the aramonic mic, just like the wireless test. This is how it sounds, and this is the difference between the two. Also, I didn't want to set up the boom arm again, so that's why I have this weird contraption going. I kind of miss that there's a lightning port on the microceiver, and it does look like the phone is charging, but not actually charging. It's been stuck at 71% for several minutes, so I don't think it's going to be charging, but at least theoretically it won't die on you. And we're also testing now to see if this picks up any weird sounds because of the charging. So like any interference or anything like that, because that would suck. And it's not an option that this thing has. The only other way you'll be able to charge your phone to keep your stream going or whatever is wireless charging, and that could not really be an option, especially if you're out on the go or something like that. And I'm guessing these things both take up a little bit more battery power. I don't know that for sure, but it just be my guess and common sense. I wanted to mention that both of these mics also cancel out your iPhone's speakers. So if you're trying to listen to something while these are plugged in, you're probably going to have to use some Bluetooth headphones. So I'm back after listening to all the footage. I just gotta say sorry for the horrible quality of the wireless lavalier mic. And I honestly didn't really think about it, but it's probably mostly due to it being wireless. Some sacrifices to be made there if you're going to use that. It might be really convenient for you, and that might be better than nothing. Price isn't super cheap, so there's probably a better option out there. Even just a wired lavalier mic is probably going to be a lot better. You might run out of room, but they make some pretty long ones. And if you have another camera, you can just record to your phone or an external recorder, put that in your pocket and sync it up later. That might just be the best bet. The aramonic wasn't too bad. Definitely not the best compared to this, but this is a whole different type of setup, obviously. But it's definitely a step up from just the iPhone mic, especially being a little bit cheaper than the wireless one at $40. Definitely isn't bad when you compare it to something like the big boy versions from Rode or from Shure and the Zoom version, which are all like over $100. At that point, I would just recommend getting an external recorder like the Zoom H1, or I have the Zoom H5, which I'm recording this onto now and I use for my audio interface on my PC as well. I would recommend doing that for the type of price some of those iPhone mics go for, unless you just really have to use your iPhone for some reason, because they come with microphones on them, which are probably going to be just as good or better. And you have the ability to record an external mic onto them. In the Zoom H1 case, you can put anything with the 3.5 millimeter jack, the aux cable thing. So like the lav mic that I have is a Movo, I believe, and it couldn't have been more than $50. And I also can't find it. But here's a clip that I know I used it in from a scrap video I did earlier last year.
This is the premiere. Can you just say things normally? It's really not that hard to just talk. Happy holidays. Welcome to...
So that I just wore the lapel mic on my shirt and it went straight into my Zoom H5 and I was able to sync it up in post afterwards. And there you go. You have a very good audio solution and you don't have to be tied to your camera. That is the whole point of all this, right? It's a little different when we're talking about phones, because with a utility here, you could stream from your phone or make videos purely on your phone. You can edit, shoot, post, all that from there. So there is a bit of a different utility here. I would not recommend this wireless one, but if it's all you got, then it's better than nothing. Also, interestingly, it sounds a lot better when it's not on your shirt and it's actually picking up your voice from the front, which seems obvious, but when the point of it is to have it right here, it just doesn't sound very good. I know it doesn't sound good in general, but it sounds a lot better when it's out in front of you. Like you see everyone on TikTok doing that with their Apple headphones, holding their headphones out here to talking to the mic. Same thing, but not practical. I would also be willing to bet that the aramonic would do way better in a more treated environment. If this wall wasn't right here catching every single reverb, I bet it would sound much better. And it's already a step up, like I said, over the stock iPhone mic, which is good. So that's been my roundup of these iPhone mics. I hope you found it useful and maybe learned a thing or two. I don't know. I had fun experimenting, and it's very apparent that this is an echoey room and I should get it treated. But for now, this thing is going to do the trick for me. I've discovered I really like this thing. I just got it, so I'm kind of happy about that. And I actually got a second one for my other channel, the gaming channel that me and my best friend do. That's been it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you later.